Welcome to the class, students. In this session, I would like to deliver a lecture on the poem One Day I Wrote Her Name, written by Edmund Spenser. One Day I Wrote Her Name is an Elizabethan sonnet. It is the 75th sonnet of Emirati, which was published in 1595. Edmund Spenser wants to immortalize his love in his poetry. So he affirms that his love will live forever through this poem. He believes that his love will beat death. However, this is a typical Petrarchan sonnet. Edmund Spenser is credited with the creation of sonnet style. The Spenserian sonnet was featured in his epic poem The Fairy Queen. In his long poem, this style is also referred to as the Spenserian stanza. The rhyme scheme and the pattern, the Spenser had used a unique style in this poem. The poem One Day I Wrote Her Name, it is the 75th sonnet of Emirati, and Spenser believes that his love will beat death. However, this is a typical Petrarchan sonnet. The rhyme scheme of the poem is AB, AB, BC, BC, CD, CD, EE. Spenser dedicated this poem to his beloved Elizabeth Boyle. Elizabethan sonnets are popular for the conflict between time and love. Time, as a mighty mover, consumes all with the hard teeth of the years in slow death and decay. Time brings to decay all things that come into existence, but love keeps time at bay. This poem also celebrates this time. Edmund Spenser wrote his mistress's name on the beach, but the waves come and vanished it away. He again wrote her name and got the same result. The waves came and washed away, but then his lady rebuked him for the vain efforts. No one can defeat and go faster than the fleeting time. Everyone must conform to death. She ridicules the poet for his madly efforts. She knew that even her mortal body would be destroyed. Similarly, her name also would have to face decay. But the poet was not a man of listening. He did not accept the prime truth. Edmund Spenser said that his mistress might be decayed, but her fame would live forever. His poetry would eternalize the virtue of this lady, Elizabeth Boyle. Death will destroy everything but not love. The poet believes that his love will live by his poetry and give inspiration to all lovers. One Day I Wrote Her Name expresses Spenser's passionate love for his lady. Spenser believes that his love will never submit itself to death. The poem shows a conflict between time and love. Time, as a mighty mover, cuts every single thing that on its way, but love is a spiritual thing. It lives in the core of heart. It is a feeling. Time snatches away all mortal things by its because love is immortal. The poem begins in a dramatic way with this much discussed conflict of time and love. Time destroys the man's efforts to perpetuate the name of his sweetheart on the things. Spencer writes the name of his lady love on the beach in order to preserve it, but the sea waves repeatedly washes it away with its finite force. The beloved rebukes the poet, saying that it is foolish for him to try to make a mortal thing immortal. She takes time to be most popular and thinks that nothing can defeat its onslaught. But the poet is not agree with her on this issue. He has faith in the sovereign power of verse. He opines that mean earthly objects are liable to decay and death, but his poetry is not subject to death. He will compose sonnets to celebrate her beauty. So, the line 1 to 4, the sentimental side of love. The strand, the word strand is the shore of the sea. The speaker and his beloved are having a solitary at a romantic time. He takes the initiative of poring over his lady in his infinite love. The writer writes her name on sand, but it gets washed away. A note of sadness, but predicted. He writes her name again and again. So, this indicates that the pains here refers to his hard work of writing twice. So, the word pray in the poem also refers to the dominance of nature in man's life. The next line 5 to 8, a bitter truth called mortality. The lady is aware that he is trying to water his dream, which cannot be possible in reality. She is mortal, and so is her name. His attempts went in vain. But the writer is not ready to listen. The dialogue now takes a debatable structure. She might expecting his optimistic proposal to proceed further. In the line number 9 to 14, the speaker immortalizes his lady. He does not agree that her name will ever decay or be forgotten in times to come. He argues that only the lower or a baser things get vanished. She is his love, and her fame shall remain eternal. So I said, usual pattern of Elizabethan sonnet, an octave and sestet. There is an etymological repetition can be seen in the structure of the poem. The central contrast is here is life and death. Okay, heaven indicates eternality, and there is a hint. It talks about the Renaissance cosmology during this particular time. So, in conclusion, one day I wrote her name. It expresses Spencer's passionate love for his lady. Spencer believes that his love will never submit itself to death. So, the poem shows a conflict between time and love. Time, as a mighty mover, cuts every single thing that on its way, but love is a spiritual thing. Thank you for listening.